Welcome back to Kidsplaining. I'm Jared, this is my dad, and today we're going to talk about Blazon, which is coming to Kickstarter soon.
Yep, Blazon from 25th Century Games. It's a game of medieval heraldry where players are competing to make their own, to blazon their shield. So everyone starts out with a blank shield board like this. Everyone has their own, they're tracking their own score on the board, and during the game, everyone is going to be trying to make something like this, where you have your shield with different tincture cards. Those are these cards with the circles, and different device cards, all these different symbols, but you're trying to gain prestige points, which are in this purple shield right here, by strategically putting valuable cards on your board.
And the coolest thing is that when you're done, you actually made a real heraldic shield by playing a cool game.
Yes, there is a lot of information in this game that is really cool. It's I really appreciate that they didn't just slap a theme on a game and try and make like this blazoning your shield game without attention to history, because there was a great attention to history.
Yes.
All throughout the rule book, and I think that's one of your favorite parts, isn't it?
Yes, it's that they actually looked at the history, they went through it, and then they learned how to actually blazon a shield, and then made a game about blazoning a shield.
Yeah. So all of these green boxes all throughout the rule book are all history. It's all information. These aren't rules. This is information about what all of these symbols mean. These symbols are all, as best as I understand, all historically accurate. The rule book tells you the significance of different colors, of different symbols that different people would use in those times on their shield. So you are actually I love a game that when you finish with it, you want to go and learn about what you just did.
And then you can use the shield that you made to make your own personal shield or family shield. But I think my favorite part of this is how instead of just having a game, this is not all just rules. It's also not exactly flavor text. It's history.
Yeah.
And it lets you learn things to then do other things later on.
Yeah. So from a design standpoint, the attention to detail, the attention to accuracy, and bringing in actual history into the game and giving the opportunity to learn history, I really love that. I think if you do any kind of game schooling, this is definitely something to look into. Obviously, it's a Kickstarter, so you're not going to get it right away. But if you're doing any sort of history where you're talking about medieval times, any of this, it's a great tool to inspire kind of the desire to learn more, to inspire conversations, to spark conversations, and just kind of give you a good entryway into blazoning your shield, into crests, into what all of these symbols mean and why people in medieval times would do this. So from a gameplay perspective, it's a relatively simple game with a lot of little detailed ways to score points. It is a multiplayer solitaire game. There's no getting around that. There's very little player interaction other than you're all getting cards from the same marketplace and
scoring the same goals.
And there's some shared goals up here that if you're the first person to achieve them, you get more points than the rest of the people. But it is a very solitary game with multiple players. So during the game, you can either acquire cards where you take 2 cards from either deck, and then you can swap those for cards from the face-up cards. And then you can also, on your turn, on a separate turn, you can't acquire and place at the same time. So you can either acquire or you can place cards on your shield. When you place a card, you're scoring points for the prestige value. You also have to discard that same amount of prestige. So in order to place this card right here, I would have to discard 3 prestige points from my hand to place it. There are some rules to placement. So you'll notice these icons right here. You have to match the icons. So this card couldn't go like that because that doesn't match there. I would have to place it like this. And then once I place a card in a row, so if I place this one here, it is aligned to the bottom. Then the rest of the cards on that row would also have to be aligned the same way. The tincture cards, which you have devices and you have tinctures. The devices are the square icon. The tinctures are the circle icons. These 2 cards can't be the same icon, and these 3 cards up here can't be the same icon. Other than that, you're really just trying to strategically score the most points. You can replace cards on your board. as you're the first, if you're the first to get to any of the 10 spots on the board, you get one of these tokens, which gives you extra points at the end of the game. I really like that this game does a really good job of keeping it even.
Balanced.
Yes, it keeps the scoring balanced, because every time a player does something that gets them extra points, like gets past a 10 spot or the first one to get one of these goals up here, everyone else gets one of these heraldry tokens, which allows you to do things, either take an extra card, play a card anytime during your turn for one. You spend 1 prestige to do it, but it's really hard to run away with it, because every time a player does something that gets them a lot of points, everyone else gets a little bit of a boost to help them catch up.
Mm-hmm. And that little bit of a boost can help you win the game if
Yes.
you have a good strategy.
Yep. And then these areas up here just let you, when you achieve these, you're just trying to match the icon. So if you have the, which ones do we have here?
If you have these symbols like they do here,
Yep.
right here.
So we had this symbol, and this symbol. So this player was able to put their token there. And again, by doing that, this little icon means that every other player would have gotten one of these heraldry tokens. But these are just doing different things with the symbols on your board. It really feels like it's a set collection game when you first start, but it's really not. It's
more of like I don't know, you draw cards and then place them on your shield.
Yeah,
it's not really an engine builder or a deck builder.
No, it's not any of that, but you're just matching things on your shield. You are playing cards that meet certain criteria in order to gather points, but it's not set collecting. It looks
just like set collecting, but it isn't.
Yeah, it's placing cards to get points. It's a really well-balanced game. Every game that we've played everyone's been within 5 or 6 points of each other. Mm-hmm. So what is your favorite part about this game?
The history in it. Which, it's not exactly flavor text.
No.
And it's not all rules, but there's history in it. And I love that with that history, you learn more about the game.
Yeah.
And then you also learn a lot about, like, medieval times.
Yes.
And something that I think is really cool is that all these symbols were used, and all of the rules that are used for placement here are rules for making an actual blazoned shield.
Yes, exactly.
So when you read this, you are also reading basically the rule book for how to blazon a shield.
Yes, and again, that's what I said earlier in the video. It's anytime a game leaves you wanting to go actually learn something to gain actual real-world knowledge, I think that's a great success on the part of the designer, on the part of the publisher, to create a game that is really fun, but also makes you want to learn and does a good job of inspiring that desire to learn. So,
and then it also makes you want to play it again.
Yes. And again, it's one of those, there's so many little different things and a lot of different icons, a lot of different ways to score, different things to look at when you're placing, that the more you play, the more you notice all those little different opportunities to get a little bit of an advantage. So it's definitely a game that you're going to be much better at and have a leg up on your 5th game versus your 1st or 2nd game. But it's also really easy to learn.
Like, it looks pretty, like, this looks kind of messy, but playing the game, it's really easy to know that this needs to go here, this needs to go here, and these tinctures need to go there.
Yep, and we played with all 4 of us. So Peyton played. Peyton is 8, Jared is 12. Allison and I played also. Peyton had no problems understanding the rules, the placement rules, any of that. It's very accessible.
Won before.
He won the last game that we played. So it's very accessible for a wide age range, really inspires coming back and learning about the stuff in the game. So this is Blazon from 25th Century Games. It is coming to Kickstarter soon. We will leave links below to where you can find all of the information about this game.
And while you're looking for that, be sure to find the subscribe button and the like button, and be sure to look for some of our other videos too. We have some tutorials, unboxings, more reviews, just cool videos like that.
Yep, lots of other videos to help you find great games for your family to play. So until next time, we will see you later.
Bye.